Last time, we delved into this fascinating dance between our public and private selves and how status anxiety fuels our performance. We talked about the anxiety that bubbles up when there's a gap between who we are and who we show to the world, and that gap gets too wide. A viewer in the comment at Clarity Genesis made an excellent point that what I talked about in that video is synonymous with Jungian personas and shadow concepts. Now that I think about it, there's a parallel between the two concepts, and that Goffman and de Botton focuses on performance pressure, while Jung delves into the deeper emotional and identity consequences. Thank you for that feedback. But what if I told you that the very idea of a singular, unchanging, authentic self that we're all desperately trying to uncover and present is in itself a myth? What if this relentless pursuit of being authentic is actually adding to our anxiety rather than freeing us from it? Today we're going to dismantle this popular narrative of authenticity and explore a more liberating, nuanced understanding of who we truly are. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to tackle a concept that became almost a sacred cow in modern society, and that is authenticity. We're constantly being told to be yourself, find your true self, live authentically. It's preached in self-help books, on social media, in corporate training sessions, and countless lifestyle gurus promises that it is the key to happiness. The popular narrative suggests that there is a core genuine you waiting to be discovered, a perfectly consistent self that once uncovered will unlock true happiness, effortless connections, and a life free from anxiety. It's often framed as shedding masks, revealing your true colors, embracing an unvarnished version of yourself, come what may. This sounds liberating, right? It promises an end to the performance, an end to the fear of judgment. But this popular notion of authenticity often paints a misleading picture. It implies a fixed, unchanging essence, a kind of internal monolith. It suggests that if we just strip away all the social pressure and masks, we will reveal this pure, unadulterated self, and that everything will magically fall into place. But what if this fixed, true self simply doesn't exist in the way we imagine it? Here's where the lie begins to unravel. Think about it. Are you the exact same person when you're with friends as you are when you are with your boss? Are you the same person at a job interview as you're curled up in a couch watching YouTube, such as this video, for example? Are you the same person debating a complex issue as you are when you're trying to comfort a crying child? Of course not. The idea that you should be the exact same person in all these contexts is what the pressure comes from. The authentic narrative often fails to account for the fundamental reality of human behavior. We are inherently fluid and context dependent. Our personas, our expression, our very priorities shift based on who we're with, where we are at, and what we're trying to achieve. It's not just about the different roles we play, but different facets of our personality that we are emphasizing or de-emphasizing. Consider the different roles we play daily. You're a child, a parent, an employee, a partner, a friend, a student, a neighbor. Each role comes with a different expectation, a different way of speaking, different emotional responses, and even different nonverbal cues. Is one of these roles more authentic than the others? Or they're all legitimate, genuine facets of your multifaceted self? To suggest that one of these is the true you is to deny that rich, adaptive complexity of the human experience. It sets us up for constant internal failure and self-judgment. Remember our discussion about the front stage self from last time? The popular authenticity narrative often demonizes this performance. It tells us that the very deviation from our perceived true self is inauthentic, a betrayal of ourselves and others. Just be yourself, it urges, implying that any attempt to tailor your behavior is manipulative or false. But what if performing isn't just about deception? What if it's a necessary social skill, a way to navigate the world effectively? Think about how we manage social interaction. We calibrate our responses, we filter our thoughts, we choose our words carefully. Is it inauthentic to hold back a sarcastic comment in a solemn funeral? Is it a lie to smile and be polite to a difficult colleague at work events, even if we don't particularly like them? Or is it simply a demonstration of social intelligence, a recognition of appropriate boundaries, a sign of respect for others or the situation? Sometimes our performance is simply an act of kindness, an attempt to make others feel comfortable, or a necessary step to achieve a goal that benefits everyone. It's not about being fake, it's about being adaptable, skillful, and considerate in different situations. It allows for the smooth functioning of society, for collaboration, or for maintaining relationships. We're not born with fully formed, unchangeable, authentic self that we then spend the rest of our lives trying to uncover. Instead, our sense of self is constantly evolving, shaped by our experiences, our relationships, our ongoing learning, and even our future aspirations. So if the idea of a fixed true self is a myth, what are the real-world dangers and hidden costs of relentlessly pursuing this popular notion of authenticity? For one, it increases anxiety and self-judgment. If you believe that there's one true you and you're not always embodying it perfectly, you're constantly judging yourself as fake, inconsistent, or inauthentic. This can create an immense internal pressure and anxiety. You feel guilty for adapting your behavior to a particular setting or having different facets to your personality. This self-flagellation erodes self-esteem because you're constantly falling short of an impossible ideal. Another thing it can cause is lack of adaptability. A rigid, unyielding adherence to being yourself can sometimes lead to a significant lack of social awareness and inability to connect effectively. True connection often requires empathy, active listening, and willingness to meet others where they are, not just this rigidly imposing your single true self on every situation without regard to social cues or the feelings of others. This can lead to a social friction, misunderstanding, and even isolation. It can also stifle growth and evolution. If you're constantly trying to adhere to a fixed idea of who you authentically are, you might resist personal growth and change. You might be afraid to try new things, adopt new perspectives, challenge your own biases, or develop new skills because they doesn't fit your perceived notion of who you truly are. But growth is change. To evolve is to become something new, something perhaps different from who you were yesterday. A static view of authenticity traps you in the past self, preventing you from becoming the person you aspire to be. And there's that authenticity trap that is presented in marketing. This concept has been heavily co-opted by marketing and personal branding. We're bombarded with messages that if we just find our authentic voice or authentic brand, success will follow. This puts immense pressure on individuals, especially on social media, to constantly perform a very specific, curated version of authenticity, which is ironically a performance in itself. It turns self-discovery into a product and a real human complexity into a marketable stereotype. If the traditional notion of authenticity is a lie, what's more constructive, liberating way to think about it then? I propose we shift our understanding from a fixed essence to a dynamic process. Authenticity isn't about being perfectly consistent across all contexts. It's about being coherent, integrated, and with intentionality in your actions. Instead of asking, am I being my single true self in this moment? Ask instead these kind of questions. Am I acting in alignment with my core values? Your values, whether they're kindness, courage, curiosity, respect, etc., can be the anchor that guides your behavior across different contexts. You can still be playful with your friends and still embody professionalism. Your value provides a stable internal compass, even as your behavior adapts to different contexts. Or you can ask, am I taking ownership of my choice and actions, even my performance in this situation? Authenticity isn't about having no masks, but about being aware of the mask or role or adaptation you wear and why you choose to wear that one. It's about conscious intention rather than unconscious, fear-driven performance. When you constantly choose to adapt your behavior for a specific situation, such as a formal job interview, you're being authentic to your intention in that moment. Am I integrating my experience and emotions rather than suppressing them? This means not denying your backstage emotions, but understanding them, processing them, and then choosing how you express them in a way that serves both you and your interaction with others. It's about self-awareness and emotional regulation, not necessarily self-revelation at all costs. You acknowledge your internal state, but you decide how to present it outwardly more effectively. Am I genuinely responding to the present moment? True presence and genuine interaction often involves adapting and responding spontaneously. Being rigid, authentic can make you less present, as you're constantly checking if your action aligns with a predefined internal script. Instead, allow yourself to engage freely while still guided by your values. I think this reframing liberates us. It allows for growth, for adaptation, and for natural shifts that occur as we move through life. It acknowledges that we can be different versions of ourselves without being fake or feeling like imposters. The goal isn't to eliminate the gap between our front and backstage selves, but to ensure that the navigation of this gap is driven by conscious choice and core values, not by anxiety or rigid pursuit of an impossible ideal. So how do we move beyond the lie of a fixed authenticity and embrace this more dynamic, liberating approach? First, you can identify your core values. Spend some time reflecting on what truly matters to you. What principle guides your decisions? What kind of person do you want to be, irrespective of the context? Write them down. These are your internal compass. The more clearly you define these, the more easily you can align your actions with them. You can practice intentionality, not just perfection. Before entering a new social situation or a challenging interaction, take a moment. What is your intention here? Do you want to be professional, supportive, curious, funny? Consciously choose the facet of yourself that best serves that intention. This isn't about being fake. It's about strategic self-presentation rooted in purpose. Cultivate self-awareness of your backstage. Continue to deepen your self-awareness. What emotion are you truly feeling? What thoughts are running through your mind? Acknowledge them without judgment. You didn't need to broadcast your thoughts or feeling, but understanding your internal landscape is crucial for making conscious choices about your external presentation. Journaling, mindfulness, or even therapy can be a powerful tool to help you define these. Allow for growth and change. Actively seek out new experiences, new ideas, and new challenges. Embrace the fact that you're always evolving. Don't let the past version of who you are prevent you from becoming who you could be. Ultimately, the true antidote to the anxiety born from the lie of authenticity isn't a fixed true self, but cultivating radical self-acceptance for your fluid, evolving, multifaceted self. It's about recognizing that your front stage adaptation and backstage realities are legitimate parts of who you are. When you accept your own complexity, your own ability to adapt and shift, you lessen the desperate need for external validation because your self-worth isn't tied to a rigid, impossible ideal of authenticity. This allows you to move with greater ease and confidence throughout different social landscapes, knowing that you can adapt without compromising your core values. It's about integrity in your actions, not uniformity in your presentation. It allows you to breathe, knowing you don't have to be one thing all the time for everyone. You can be genuinely yourself because yourself is a wonderful, complex, adaptable, and evolving being. This, I think, will truly liberate us. So to sum up, 1. The popular idea of a singular, fixed, authentic self is perhaps largely a myth, and that can breed anxiety. 2. We're naturally fluid and constant and context dependent, playing multiple legitimate roles in our lives. And 3. True authenticity isn't about being rigidly consistent, but about aligning your action with your core values and intention, and then cultivating self-acceptance for your dynamic self. So instead of constantly checking if you're being your true self, perhaps a more powerful and freeing question is, am I being true to my values in this moment and in this context? If this perspective resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comment box below. What does authenticity mean to you? And if you haven't already considered, please subscribe for more videos. Until next time, keep questioning, keep reflecting. Hadi out.